I can't spell either. What philosophy, if followed, provides the most ROI? Remember, I saw that somewhere up here. Security posture. Nope. Blank, 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 blank. Secure by design. Dang. Another one down. Let's see. Organization security is not a one-time job, but a continuous effort. Like I said earlier, it's just constantly evolving. Not to mention, there's always somebody figuring out another loophole, another way around something. It's, there's no such thing as 100% secure. So, sharing awareness, security engineer might be tasked with maintaining a certain security awareness level in the organization. So these are like things like phishing attempts, emails, training sessions. Humans are their weakest link in an organization's security. That's always the pop of, hey, click this. Hey, you want a free iPhone? If anyone remembers that one. Security engineer periodically runs awareness sessions targeting primarily social engineering. That's exactly what I was talking about with those phishing attempts. Social engineering is always a key thing that employees need to be aware of and is always the easiest door for hackers to get in. So, awareness sessions are also organized for specific teams to ensure that they follow security principles related to the area expertise, like secure software development or secure network architecture. So if you have somebody running the network, you need to make sure they're aware of certain things. If you have somebody making the programs and the web apps for the organization, they need to be aware of specific security measures. Obviously, if you have a truck driver or delivery boy, they don't need to know how to properly securely program, but they need to know, don't click random emails when you're on the network or it in general, really. Managing risk. The executive management of most organizations look at security from lens of minimizing risks. So if you can minimize the risk, the chances are also minimized. Security is essential to business because ignoring it can result in operational disruption, data leakage, lawsuits, or other forms of risk. Therefore, security engineers are often tasked with identifying security risks, determining their likelihood and impact, and finding solutions to minimize those risks. It must be noted that eliminating all risk might not be possible when running business operations. So this goes back to what I was saying. You can't 100% be secure, but you can minimize risk. You can make sure, hey, does the delivery boy need an email? Probably not. They just need to come in, punch in, check, be told what they need to deliver, and go about their day. That being said, it's also how much is the organization willing to risk? Some of these things need to be just like, yeah, we need to take that risk. Our delivery boy needs those emails, stuff like that. So, accepting or mitigating risk is often a business decision, and security engineer acts as a trusted advisor of the management team that helps them take this decision by providing subject matter expertise. Take an example of an organization that uses a database software for supply chain and runs a vulnerable version of Linux. This software is essential to the org's operations. Updating the software so that it can run the latest OS is not vulnerable without impacting operations might take significant effort, more than a year. It will require engagement with the vendor who has not yet tested the software on the latest OS version. Deploying the software without testing on the latest OS will result in causing problems in the org. In such a scenario, the vulnerable OS poses a security risk. Security engineer might suggest mitigating the risk by hardening the OS through additional controls, adding a reverse proxy in front of the vulnerable system to avoid exposing it to the internet. So, while these steps will not eliminate the risk, they will significantly reduce it without affecting the org's operations. So, what it's saying here is that you have an old version of Linux. It's very vulnerable to such and such technique. If we put that Linux computer behind a wall that does mitigate some of that risk, if we make sure we block that vulnerability, we can lower risk or sometimes even eliminate it. There are a lot of machines that still run on very old versions of Linux. But if you have, let's say, a canning machine and it just runs the canning software to can pineapples, if that machine only job is to can apples, it doesn't need to be connected to the network. It doesn't need to be connected to the internet. It can stay right there and just run. So when a machine that's vulnerable is completely off the network, but is still able to do its job, you've then minimized the risk as much as possible. Now, again, somebody might come in and turn it on to the internet. They want to check their email. Now you have issues. But again, mitigating those risks. Change management. Organizations keep evolving with time, which also result in change in their security posture. To ensure a robust security posture, the security engineer keeps track of changes in the org's digital assets that can affect the security posture and take measures to improve the security posture with the organization's evolution. I was told a long time ago that uh, you don't need security until you do. So some organizations will run the risk to be like, hey, we don't need to spend money on security engineers, proxies, firewalls, and all this other good stuff. Let's just run the risk. And they might get away with it for a year or two, but eventually that debt comes due. And once you get caught, it's really hard to build back up, public trust. Um, who knows what kind of valuable information was lost, things of that nature. It's risk management. Are you willing to take that risk? Yeah, you might save a couple hundred K not paying people to do security, but you might lose 1 million in your trust, PR, and assets that are now gone. Maybe you have a industry secret that's been giving you the advantage, and now that's out and open to the public or to the highest bidder. So, vulnerability management. Threat landscape is continuously evolving. New software versions are released, vulnerabilities are found in older versions. The security engineer's job often includes monitoring vulnerabilities across an organization and planning to patch or minimize their risk. Vulnerabilities are generally patched according to severity, as we will learn in the vulnerability management room. Oh boy. Compliance and audit. The significant part of security engineers' duties, including ensuring compliance with regulatory and organizational requirements. Depending on industry, clientele, and location of the org, it might be subject to various compliance standards such as PCI, DSS, HIPAA, SOC 2, ISO, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of different organizations need to adhere to these standards if they want to compete and be approved. So uh, HIPAA, that's dealing with medical, um, and so on and so forth. Some of these others I'm not 100% sure on. Security engineer works closely with both internal and external auditors to detect any non-compliance issues and effectively address them. Additionally, they are responsible for upholding the organization's security certifications as needed. A lot of organizations like to throw a lot of stuff on the security engineers' backs. All right, what is considered the weakest link in an organization's security? Humans. The worst. An organization's security evolves with the organization. What helps the security engineer keep the organization secure through these changes? Hmm. What helps them keep up to date with the changes? Dang. That was a threat landscape. So close. Let's see. Man, thank God I'm not on the Wheel of Fortune. Let's see. See, that sounds like, oh, it's change management. Yep. No one saw that. That wasn't a cheat. I swear. All right. As discussed previously, a security engineer's role is loosely defined and broad based. At certain organizations, the security engineer might need to take up some additional responsibilities to help other teams, which we will cover in this task. They're kind of a jack of all trades and need to be everywhere and anywhere at once. So, managing security tooling. Security engineer might sometimes be required to configure or fine-tune security tools such as SIEMs, firewalls, WAFs, EDRs, and more. In some organizations, that might also be primarily responsibility. Thanks, but you got to try. You have to put the exclamation mark first, like this. So, Managing security tooling uh, might be required to configure or fine tune some of those tools. Uh, Primary responsibility of security engineer. Such a role as security engineer might be might also be making decisions or providing input or decision makers about tools and procedures based on org's requirements and the engineer assessment of competitive tools. A lot of words. That's all to say that sometimes they're going to be needed to make the rules and fine tune things that other engineers might not be aware of. Um, Being able to make sure that the organization is on the cutting edge of those rules, firewalls, new attacks, and updating them on like competitive tools that might be out there that might work better, uh, or in-house tools that might need a little adjustment or fine tuning. Tabletop exercises. These are always fun. Tabletop exercises are often conducted to gauge the operational readiness of an organization from a security point of view. Certain scenarios are identified to be exercised, and security team members must explain their respective roles in scenarios under decision. So, tabletop exercise is kind of like, hey, let's see what would happen and how everyone would react if we got compromised. Somebody got somebody else's email and logged in and just spammed the entire organization. What do we do? So then you start running down each team like, all right, what would you do in this scenario? What do we need to do? Who's the decision maker? Who's vulnerable? Who's going to be the one to be able to catch this, shut it down, and are the rules in place? Disaster recovery and crisis management. Robust security posture requires organizations to plan for untoward incidents, disasters, or crises. In any such scenario, the top priority of the executive management is to maintain business continuity. A security engineer might be involved in disaster recovery, business continuity, and crisis management planning as part of the different compliance frameworks and organization's internal policies. The role of the security engineer in these areas might differ depending on the organization. So that's if things go down, what is it going to take to bring them back up? If we bring them back up, are they still vulnerable? Um, this crisis management is really key in organizations. What happens if somebody downloads and runs a ransomware that just starts infecting the entire organization? How do we cut it off? How do we stop it? How do we bring up back so we're still, making money? The organization is running as smoothly as it can. If half the network goes down, are we still able to process orders, things like that? So, what is a theoretical exercise carried out to gauge operational readiness? That is uh, to the top exercises. All right. What is the priority of the management in the case of a disaster or crisis? What is the priority of the management? Oh, that would be the uh, business continuity. Got him. While performing their duties, security engineers must consider various aspects of running a business apart from keeping it secure. These considerations may include business operation, cost, ease of implementation, ease of use, and more. Although the most secure system is one that is shut off and disconnected from power, such a system doesn't achieve any business objectives. Hence, a security engineer must consider business objectives and security when making decisions. So the only secure computer is a turned off computer. All right. To experience what decisions a security engineer might take while performing their duties, hop on this site. Can you do this by clicking view site button? Weird. Half the screen is for your lesson exercise. It's within tasks. Site shows an email client showing the inbox's security engineer. Ooh, this is fun. The inbox has several unread messages. Each unread email will be one of the tasks that the security engineer has to perform. Let's proceed. Invitation webinar, weekly newsletter, important announcement, new portal is going live, audit observation, vulnerability assessment, testing report. Let's go to important announcement first, please. No? No? Okay. Hi, external audit performed at XYZ Inc. Please find the attachment. All right, all assets and the latest operation system security updates installed. Though most systems had the latest OS, some legacy systems that supported older hardware and didn't have the latest security updates. These systems are older, and installing security updates on them might break the functionality. So the easiest way would be just for strict accessibility to those servers. All right. All network communication, user activity, and security device logs shall be aggregated in a single platform and monitored continuously. XYZ has some assets in the cloud and other on-premises. It was observed that the cloud assets were not integrated with the SIEM, which is present on premises. The logs from the cloud are not integrated with the SIEM because this will require enabling internet access into the SIEM, which is not desirable. We build the application on the cloud to on-prem or vice versa. Yet you probably don't want on-prem on cloud. I think this is probably our best bet. Aggregating cloud logs in a single place, forward the logs from that place to on-prem using a very restricted tunnel. All right, I think that worked. Next. External pen test vendor performed that of XYZ external facing infrastructure. Please find the attached. All right, Oracle backend DB. Now we're getting serious. So that stands for, I believe it's Vulnerable Application Pen Testing Report. So vulnerability in MySQL Server, the Oracle MySQL, supported versions are effective 5.7.27 and prior, and 8.0.28 prior. Easily exploitable, allows high privileged attacker with network access via multiple protocols compromise the server. Successful attacks of this vulnerability can result in unauthorized ability to hang a frequent repeated crash of the server. Upgrade to the latest version of Oracle. Download and apply the upgrade here. Check access. This one we probably want to update. Nope. Got that wrong. Chat, what do you think? Bueller? Bueller? Let's see. All right. So instead of patching it, we just, again, restrict access to it. We don't want to break it or, lose the ability to continue operating. In addition to the C_rehash shell command injection identified in CVE 2022-1292, further circumstances where the rehash script does not properly sanitize shell meta characters. So this is talking about their special characters that you can input that can execute certain commands that aren't desired, let's say. Prevent command injections were found in the code review. Uh, when the CVE was fixed, it was not discovered that there were other places in the script where the file name and certificates being hashed were possibly passed to a command executed through the shell. The script distributed by some operating systems in a manner where it is automatically executed. That's not good. On such operating systems, an attacker could execute the arbitrary commands with privileges of the script. Use the. Uh, oh, thank you, Caffeine Storm. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Here we're just going over some TryHackMe, starting pretty fresh off the boat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in chat. So right now we're going over the vulnerability application pen testing report. This is just part of the exercise here in TryHackMe. How's it going, Tom? All right. So reading through this description, we hear that CVE that was tested is actually not properly sanitizing shell meta characters. So those are special characters that can be put in input fields or executed, and malicious code and command injections can be used. So what was I? This script is distributed by some operating system in a manner where it's automatically executed, which isn't great. On such operating systems, an attacker could execute arbitrary commands with the privileges of the script. So whatever we're running the script as will uh, also be executed with those malicious commands. So if you're running the script as system, those commands will be run as system. If you're running it as the user script runner, it will be run as script runner. That's right. That is why we patch. We do our best. So here's some of the recommended solutions. We can upgrade to OpenSSL version, download and apply for the upgrade. Upgrade version 1.1.1. Upgrade OpenSSL. So we can patch the vulnerability, rebuild the server, keep as is, restrict accessibility from the server only through a VPN or internal network. Yeah, I'm thinking we patch. That sounds like the best move. Oh, oh no, we're out of attempts. Please restart. Shoot, we gotta go through the entire audit all over again. Let's see. Okay. Though most systems had the latest OS security updates, some legacy systems that supported XYZ's older hardware didn't have the latest security updates. Oh, nah, it's all good. It's not your fault. It seemed like the right answer, but I think a lot of this first chapter is about risk management and making sure that um, business operation is the primary goal. So you can't take down the server, patch it, I think is what they're trying to say. So these systems are older, and installing security updates on them might break the functionality of these systems. Yeah. So this one will want to restrict accessibility of servers, only required usage. There we go. All right. Observation 2. All network communication, user activity, and security device logs shall be aggregated in a single platform and monitored continuously. XYZ has some assets in the cloud and others on-prem. It was observed that the cloud assets were not integrated with the SIEM, which is present on-prem. The logs from the cloud are not integrated with the SIEM because this will require enabling internet access which is not desirable. So we can forward cloud logs regardless of the concerns of XYZ. We could keep it as is and cross our fingers. Rebuild the app on the cloud to on-prem or vice versa. Not a fan. Aggregate cloud logs in a single place, forward the logs from that place to an on-prem network using a restricted tunnel. Let's go with that. All right. Past that one. Now for the vulnerability assessment and pen testing report. That's what it stands for, not vulnerable app. Vulnerability in MySQL, in the Oracle, supported versions are affected, 5.737 and 8.0.28 and prior. Easily exploitable. High privileged attacker with network access via multiple protocols compromises the MySQL server. Not good. Successful attacks of this vulnerability can result in unauthorized ability to cause a hang or frequently repeatable crash of the MySQL server. So, recommended solution is upgrade to the latest version of MySQL. That'd be great. But again, that would take us down for a day while we try and update that. So, we're going to go with restrict access to the server through a VPN or internal network. Not the way I would do it, but again, this is the lesson they're trying to teach here. So, back to this C rehash shell command injection, which was identified in this CVE, and further circumstances where the script does not properly sanitize shell metacharacters to prevent command injections were found by code review. When this CVE was fixed, it was not discovered that there were other places in the script where the file's names and certificates being hashed were possibly passed to a command executed through the shell. The script is distributed by some operating system in a manner where it's automatically executed, and such operating system, blah, 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 blah. So we already know the answer to this one. So we're going to restrict the ability to the server. Sure. Last one, best one, right? Apache HTTPD mod Lua use of uninitialized value of in our parse body. There's the CV. Description: carefully crafted request body can cause a read to a random memory area, which could cause the process to crash. This issue affects Apache HTTP server, blah, 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 and earlier. So obviously a recommendation is just upgrade it. Let's see. Many platforms and distributions provide pre-built binary packages for the Apache server. Pre-built packages are usually customized and optimized for a particular distribution. Therefore, we recommend that you use packages if they are available for your operating system. So we can patch, rebuild, keep as is, or keep going with the restrict deployable. But if, we just let certain people through to be able to touch it, it's all good, right? All right. I fell for it. Let's see. Patch vulnerability, rebuild the server. I really don't want to go through this again. Patch the vulnerability. There we go. Them security engineers rock. Sweet. All right, now we can move on to the conclusion. No other important mail. All right, that was a brief intro to day-to-day activities of a security engineer. To conclude, we learned that a security engineer owns the responsibilities of the organization's cybersecurity, ensures that the systems and infrastructure of the org are built securely, helps maintain the security posture through continuous improvement and changes in the org's digital assets, takes on additional roles and responsibilities to help other teams achieve collective goals of security organization. Ah, all that to say, cybersecurity is so wide and can have so many deep niche things to focus on. And it all depends on the size of the organization, how many people on the team, and how can you divvy up responsibility. Yes, hypothetically, I guess you could put this all on like an engineer or two, but usually you have split up teams. Head over to our social channels for further discussion. All right. We did it. Weirdo security engineer intro. Yeah, we're good. Do that later. Security principles. All right. Off to the next one. Let's see. Check on this real quick. Yeah. Security has become a buzzword. You're so close to doing it right. you gotta you gotta have an exclamation mark before. I think I have that in the. Yeah, I do. Uh, yeah, hot dogs catching up to. Yeah, all right, security, big buzzword. Every company wants it. Not many can achieve it. Why? Because it costs money, and we hate spending money. Every company wants to claim its products or services as secure, but is it? Like I said, there is no such thing as 100% secure. Yep, there you go. uh, Before we start discussing the different security principles, it is vital to know the adversary against whom we are protecting our assets. Are you trying to stop a toddler from accessing your laptop, or are you trying to protect a laptop that contains technical designs worth millions of dollars? Using the using the exact protection mechanisms against the toddler's industrial espionage factors would be ludicrous. Consequently, knowing the adversary is a must, so we can learn about their attacks and start implementing appropriate security controls. Uh, if you are running a company that makes cars, you probably don't have to worry about attackers that want the latest AI model. Use that as an example. So there are uh, attackers that would want things at your organization. So you need to understand who those people are. What are those groups? What attacks methods are they using? It is impossible to achieve perfect security. Like I said, drill that in your head. There is no solution that is 100% secure. There, you could be 99.999. That 0.001 is gonna get you every time. They always find it. Never underestimate attackers. So, therefore, we try to improve our security posture to make it more difficult for those adversaries to gain access. The objective of this room is to explain the security functions, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, presented opposite security triad, disclosure, alterations, destruction, denial. Introduce the fundamental concepts of security models, such as the Bell Lapadula oblongata. Explain security principles such as defense in depth, zero trust, and trust but verify. Introduce the ISO IEC 19249. Explain the difference between vulnerability, threat, and risk. All right. Think how you would describe something as secure. I'm thinking, and I thought about it. Great. On to the CIA. Confidentiality, availability, integrity. Before we can describe something as secure, we need to consider better what makes up security. When you want to judge the security of a system, you need to think in terms of the security triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Say it with me, chat. Drill those in your head. You want to know security. So let's consider the CIA security triad in the case of placing an order for online shopping. All right. So confidentiality. During your shopping experience, you expect a credit card number to be disclosed only to the entity that processes the payment. If you doubt that your credit card information will be disclosed to an untrusted party, you will most likely not continue to shop there. Moreover, data breaches results in disclosure of personality, personally identifiable information, PII. Including credit cards, and company will incur a huge loss on multiple levels. Greatly, I think you're breaking the wee. There we go. All right, integrity. After filling out your order, if an intruder can alter the shipping address you have submitted, the package will be sent to someone else. Without data integrity, you might be reluctant to place your order with the seller again. And availability. To place an order online, you will either browse the store's website or use its official app. Everything has an app now. If the service is unavailable, you won't be able to browse the products or place an order. If you continue to face such technical issues, you might eventually give up and start looking for a different online store. It sounds weird. Yeah, I just restarted it, so now it should work good. You don't have to test it. You don't have to test it, but it should work now. Let's consider the CIA as it relates to patient records and related systems. Confidentiality. According to various laws in modern countries, healthcare providers must ensure and maintain confidentiality of medical records. That's that HIPAA we were talking about earlier. Consequently, healthcare providers can be held legally accountable if illegal disclosure their patients' medical records. Integrity. If a patient's record is accidentally or maliciously altered, it can lead to the wrong treatment being administered, which could in turn can lead to a life-threatening situation. Hence, the system would be useless and potentially harmful without ensuring the integrity of medical records. Availability. When the patient visits the clinic for a follow-up on their medication, the system must be available. An unavailable system means that a medical practitioner cannot access patient records. I think we get the point. So beyond CIA, I didn't order that. If somebody came up to me with this many pizzas, I'd be like, yeah, you came to the right place. Put it right over there on the table. All right. Authenticity and non-repudiation. Authentic means not fraudulent or counterfeit. Authenticity is about ensuring document file data from the claim source. Repudiate means refusing to recognize the validity of something. Non-repudiation ensures that the original source cannot deny that they are the source of the particular document file data. Okay, so I guess what they're trying to say is if you prank call somebody, order 10 pizzas, then you need to make sure that it's going to the right person that ordered those pizzas. These two are closely related. The need to tell authentic files or orders from fake ones is indispensable. Man, they love big words here. Moreover, ensuring that the other party cannot deny being the source is vital for many systems to be usable. Yeah. If you order 1,000 pizzas, you better be able to pay for 1,000 pizzas. In the online shopping, depending on your business, might tolerate attempting to deliver a t-shirt with cash on delivery when later the recipient never placed such an order. No company can tolerate shipping 1,000 cars to discover that the order is fake. All right. As a company receives it, you need to ensure the authenticity of this order. Arcurian Hexade. 1998, Don Parker proposed the Parkerian Hexade. Wonder how he came up with that name. Says 6 security elements. They are availability, utility, integrity, authenticity, confidentiality, and possession. We already covered the 4 of the 6 above. Let's discuss the remaining 2. Utility. Utility focuses on the usefulness of the information. For instance, the user has lost the decryption key to access a laptop with encrypted storage. Although the user still has the laptop, can't access anything, so it's a brick. Possession. This security element requires that we protect the information from unauthorized taking, copying, or controlling. For instance, an advisory might take a backup drive, meaning we lose possession of the information as long as they have that drive. Alternatively, the adversary might succeed in encrypting our data and using it ransomware, which leads to the loss of possession of the data. Click on View Site and answer the 5 questions. What is the flag at the end? Where is the site? Did I miss it? Oh, there we go. All right. Some actual interaction. Let's go. In security principles, choose options for safeguarding information. All right. Feel free to take a guess in chat too. As the troops got deployed, the leader stressed that they should not communicate their location to anyone while the mission was ongoing. Which security function did the leader want to have? I'm going to say confidentiality. Oh, shoot, we're timed. One hotel is stressing that the internet over its Wi-Fi network must be accessible 24 hours. Probably availability. Uh, you went to cash out a check, and the bank teller made you wait for 5 minutes as they confirmed the signature of the check's issuer. Which security function is the bank teller checking? Integrity. Ah, shoot. You can barely read the question. All right. Troops get deployed. Confidentiality. 2 companies are negotiating an agreement. However, they want to keep the details secret. Confidentiality again. Police checkpoint. Officers suspect the vehicle action pages are fake. Integrity. All right. And the integrity of the check. And availability of the Wi-Fi at the hotel. Boom. Speedrun. Really just got to start guessing these flags. Cool. Whoop whoop. Oh, that might be a fun sound to add. I'm gonna close this. Off to Dan. Disclosure, alteration, destruction, denial. Disclosure is the opposite of confidentiality. Disclosure of confidential data would be an attack on confidentiality. Alteration is the opposite of integrity. For example, the integrity of a check is indispensable. Uh, Destruction denial is the opposite of availability. Okay, so it's the opposite triangle. Makes sense. Uh, Consider the previous example, patient records in the related system. Disclosure. As in most countries, healthcare providers maintain the records. As a result, the attacker succeeds in stealing some of these medical records and dumping them online. A healthcare provider will incur loss due to the data disclosure attack. Alteration. Consider the gravity of the situation if the attacker manages to modify the patient's medical record. This alteration attack might lead to wrong treatment being administered, and consequently, the alteration attack could be life-threatening. Yeah, I could see that. Destruction denial. Consider the case where the medical facility has gone completely paperless. Ain't that great? If an attacker manages to make the database system unavailable, the facility will not be able to function properly. They can go back to paper temporarily. However, the patient's records won't be available. This denial attack would stall the whole facility. Protecting against disclosure, alterations, and destruction denial is of utter significance. This protection is equivalent to working, maintaining confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So yeah, they're trying to drill it into your head because it is very important. Um, the attacker managed to gain access to customer records and dump them online. What attack? What is this attack? This is the disclosure attack. Group of attackers were available to locate both the main and backup power supply systems, turn them off. I wonder which one it could be. Nile is a river in Egypt. All right, on to the next. Whew. Man, I haven't talked this long in forever. All right. We have learned that the security. Excuse me, chat. We have learned that the security triad is represented with the CIA. One might ask, how can we create a system that ensures one or more security function?
Good job.
All right. So by using some of these models, that's how we do it. Sabella Padula aims to achieve confidentiality. Wow. By specifying 3 rules: simple security property, star security property, discretionary security property. So simple security property is referred to as no read up. It states that the subject at a lower level cannot read an object at a higher security level. This rule prevents access to sensitive information above the authorized level. Star security property. This property is referred to as no write down. It states that the subject at a higher security level cannot write to an object at a lower security level. This rule prevents the disclosure of sensitive information to subject lower security level. Discretionary security property. This property uses an access matrix to allow read and write operations. An example, access matrix is shown in the table below and used in conjunction for the first 2 properties. I know, it's a lot. You could think of it. What always helped me was try and think of it in terms of like the military. So if you have someone that's uh, at a high authorized level, if you restrict them from writing to a low level that is publicly available, the odds that they write something that they're not supposed to is minimized. Same with the no read up. If you have a certain security level and you're trying to read up on all the documents that you've been given, you only have access to the ones that you're authorized to have access to, if that makes sense. Now, the discretionary security property, you have subject one, subject two. Subject one can write to the first file, object A or whatever, but doesn't have object B, can't touch it, can't read it, can't write it, can't look at it. Subject two, though, they can read and write to the first object, whatever file or group that is, and they can only read object B. They can't alter it or anything like that. First two properties can summarize as write up, read down. Sure. You can share confidential information with people of higher security clearance, and you can receive confidential information from people with lower security clearance. So, like I said, it's kind of like a triangle. Lower up can report up, but high up doesn't always report down. Always depends on what information is being shared, stuff like that. BIBA model. BIBA model aims to achieve integrity by specifying two main rules: simple integrity property, star integrity property. The simple integrity property is referred to as no read down. High integrity subject should not read from a lower integrity object. Star integrity property is referred to as no write up. A lower integrity subject should not write to a higher integrity object. Everything's triangles. These two properties can be summarized as read up, write down. This rule is in contrast with the Bell LaPuta model, and this should not be surprising as one is concerned with confidentiality while others integrity. So each of these models, it looks like, is focusing on CIA. So with the integrity, making sure that higher integrity subjects should not read from a lower integrity object. Lower integrity subjects should not write to a higher integrity object. Making sure that that file is, the integrity of that file is secure. You're not having anybody write to it. Clark-Wilson model. Clark-Wilson model also aims to achieve integrity by using the following concepts. Constrain a data item. This refers to the data type whose integrity we want to preserve. Unconstrained data item. This refers to the data type beyond CDI, such as user and system input. Transformation procedures. These procedures, programmed operations such as read, write, should maintain the integrity of CDIs. Integrity verification procedures. These procedures check and ensure the validity of the CDIs. Whew. All right. We've covered only 3 security models. If reader can explore additional models, feel free to look it up, chat. All right. Back to getting active. Let's see what we find here. Security principle. Which model dictates no read down? I think you want. That's the BB. No read up. That's the Bell LaPuta. No write down. Nope. No write down. 3 times the charm. Shoot. No read down. That's BIBA. No read up. No write down. That's what? Oh, no write up. No write down. That's the dollar again. No write up. That's BIBA. All right. Yeah, that wasn't confusing at all, right? Whoop whoop. Off to the next one. Defense in depth. Ooh, this looks like fun. Let me just check. Defense in depth refers to creating a security system of multiple levels. Hence, it is also called multi-level security. Consider the following analogy. You have a locked drawer where you keep your important documents and pricey stuff. Drawer is locked. However, do you want this drawer to be locked to be the only thing standing between a thief and your expensive items? If we think of multi-level security, we would prefer that the drawer be locked, the relevant room be locked, and the main door of the apartment be locked. The building gate be locked, and you might even want to throw in a few security cameras along the way. Although these multiple levels of security cannot stop every thief, they would block most of them and slow down others. Huh. Everyone good to keep going? ISO IEC, the International Organization for Standards, ISO, and International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, have created the ISO IEC 19249. In this task, I will brush briefly upon that thing: information technology, security techniques, catalog of architectural and design principles for secure products, systems, and applications. Man, they love long words and acronyms. The purpose of this is to have a better idea of what international organizations would teach regarding security principles. So it's important to know worldwide standards because the internet is worldwide. Makes sense? Makes sense. So 19249 lists 5 architectural principles: domain separation. Every set of related components is grouped in a single entity. Components can be applications, data, other resources. Each entity will have its own domain and be assigned a common set of security attributes. For example, consider the x86 processor privilege levels. The operating system kernel can run in ring 0, the most privileged level. In contrast, user mode applications can run in ring 3, the least privileged level. Does that make sense to people? I don't know if anyone's familiar with the x86 privilege levels. So you have your system and you have, there we go. So come on. 0 to 3, you have your operating system, and then you have the services on that operating system, and then you have the user applications. So the things that you download, install, and try to run, and then operating system kernel and services, that's Windows. Make sense? 2, layering. The system is structured into many abstract levels or layers, it becomes possible to impose security policies at different levels. Moreover, it would be feasible to validate the operation. Let's consider the OSI, Open Systems Interconnection Model, with the 7 layers in networking. Okay. You know what? I might as well look it up for you guys too. OSI model. So the OSI model is the 7 layers of how the internet works. See if I can quickly pull that up for you guys. So you have the physical connection, you have the frames and Ethernet, you have the, get away. You have your network, your IP address, mail, your protocols. You have the transport, which is the end-to-end connections, TCP, UDP. TCP is making sure all the packets get there. UDP is send as many packets as we can and hope that most of them get there. Think of it like YouTube buffering. You don't care if you lose a few frames. You have the session, which is the API, sockets, WinSockets, synchronizing between you and the server, the presentation. So you have images, SSL, SSH, the syntax layer. And then finally, you have the application that's going to show what that data is. I know I ran through that pretty fast. If you have questions, feel free to, DM me or pop them in the chat. Uh, let's see. Each layer in the OSI model provides specific services to the layer above it. Like I said, it's just building upon itself. Encapsulation. In the object-oriented programming, we hide low-level implementations and prevent direct manipulation of the data in the object, providing specific methods. For this purpose, for example, a clock object, you have increment the time instead of giving the user direct access to the seconds variable. The aim is to prevent invalid values of your variables. Sure. Redundancy. This principle ensures the availability and integrity. There are many examples related to redundancy. Consider the case of hardware server with two built-in power supplies. One power supply fails, then you still have the other one. This is also important in RAID configurations. So if one hard drive goes down, you still have others that can back up. Virtualization. With the advent of cloud services, virtualization is more common and popular. I think we just skim through the rest of this. We have least privilege, also phrase it as need to basis or need to know basis. That's usually how I refer to it. Who can access what? Attack surface minimization. Every system has vulnerabilities that they can use to compromise the system. Some are known, some aren't. Centralized parameter validation. Many threats are due to the system receiving input, especially from users. Invalid input can be used to exploit vulnerability. That's why you always need to make sure you have proper validation, proper sanitization of input fields. Centralized general security services. As a security principle, we should aim to centralize all security services. For example, we would create a centralized server for authentication. Of course, it might take proper measures to ensure the availability and prevent creating a single point of failure. Preparing for error and exception handling. When we build a system, we should take into account the errors and exceptions that do and will occur. Okay. Let's see if we can answer some of these questions. Which principle are you applying when you turn off an insecure server that is not crucial to the business? That one would be, can we just type 2? Sweet. So we're minimizing the attack surface. Thanks, Creedly. Your company hired a new sales rep. Which principle, when applying, when they tell you to give them access to the company's products and prices? That's going to be a need to know basis. While reading the code of an ATM, you notice a huge chunk of code to handle unexpected situations. Prepping for error handling. Bingo, bango, bongo. All right, we got 3 more tasks left, and I think that's going to be it for stream. But let's keep going. Trust is a very complex topic. Also, security. In reality, we cannot function without trust. If one were to think the laptop vendor installs spyware on the laptop, we would most likely end up rebuilding the system. So there's 2 things to focus on: trust but verify, and just zero trust. So trust but verify. This principle teaches that we should always verify even when we trust the entity and its behavior. So being told, yes, this is as secure and up to standards, you say, that's great. Let me double check. You don't buy a car without checking and kicking the tires. Uh, when you go and rent a car and go drop it off, they ask, is your, did you fill up on gas before coming here? You can say yes, but they're going to turn on the car and double check. They trust you, but they have to verify for their sake. Zero trust, never trust, always verify. In other words, every entity is considered adversarial until proven otherwise. Zero trust does not grant a trust to a device based on its location or ownership. This approach contrasts with older models. You know, it's always safe to assume everyone's an enemy until proven otherwise. All right. That was a quick section. Threat versus risk. Ooh, it's a car. All right. There are three terms that we need to take note of to avoid any confusion: vulnerability, threat, and risk. All right. In second chat. Here. Vulnerability means susceptible to an attack or damage. Info security, vulnerability, weakness. I think that's pretty obvious. A threat, potential danger, weakness, risk. The risk is concerned with the likelihood of a threat actor exploiting that vulnerability and the consequent impact on the business. So they all relate to each other. Away from information systems, a showroom with doors and windows made of standard glass suffers weakness or vulnerability due to the nature of the glass. Consequently, there is a threat that the glass door and windows can be broken, and the showroom owners should contemplate the risk, the likelihood that somebody's going to smash the glass and try and get to the car. But that's why they keep the keys separated from all the vehicles. That's why they have a secret number system for the vehicles. Uh, so you can't tell which vehicle's what. So we'll cover threats and risk in detail in a second. All right. Conclusion. This room covered various principles and concepts related to security. By now, you should be familiar with the CIA, DAD, and other terms such as authenticity, repudiation, vulnerability, threat, and risk. Hope everyone was taking notes on those because, boy, are they a mouthful. And finally, shared responsibility model is worth mentioning, especially with increased reliance on cloud services. Yep, it's all saved in the cloud. Various aspects are required to ensure proper security. They include hardware, network infrastructure, operation system, applications, etc. However, customers using cloud services have different access levels depending on the cloud services. For example, infrastructure as a service. Users should has complete control and responsibility over the operating system. On the other hand, a software as a service, which you see pop up a lot nowadays, the user has no direct access to the underlying operating system. They just use the application that's being run on the server. Consequently, achieving security in a cloud environment necessitates both the cloud server provider and the user to do their parts. The shared responsibility model is a cloud security framework to ensure that each party is aware of the responsibility. Having finished security principles room, next room is cryptography. Yeah, right. My throat's getting a little sore, chat, but hope everyone enjoyed this. I think maybe next time we'll get started on cryptography. One of my favorite subjects, actually. Let's see if I can. Oh, of course, now my stream is running just beautifully. uh, I'm still kind of new to Twitch, so